How's it going, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I built this mantle that you see right behind me. I have a separate video for how I built the entire wall, so if you're looking for something like that, you can click the link down below. But let's jump right in on how we built this mantle. So we're going to be building the mantle now. What I have here is a 1x4 common board and a 1x6 common board. This is going to depend on how big or tall or wide you want your mantle sticking out. For me, I'm going to be having it, this is going to be what's facing the person, so it's going to be kind of a slimmer mantle, and then on the top, this 6-inch piece is going to be on here, so it's a little bit wider so I can put things on the shelf. And so if you're doing it like me, you're going to need one 1x4, and I have, I think, 3 of these 1x6s that I'm going to be using. So we're going to cut those up, and then I'll show you how to put them together. And if you're wondering, my shelf is going to be 58 inches long. My fireplace wall is 6 feet wide, and so that gives me 7 inches on each side. Not sure what the standard is, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we've made all of our cuts now, and this is kind of how this is going to look. So we have these 2 side pieces, and we cut these just thin enough so that when I put this 1x4 up here, it comes and it's going to lay flush. And then when I lay this on top, it's going to rest right on there like that. Hopefully you can see that. But essentially what we're trying to do is, because this is going to be the front of the mantle, we don't want any seams to be visible on this side. So we made these cuts, so we're going to stack this on top of here, attach these, put them on the side, put this one over here just like that, and then we're going to stack this guy on top. So that's basically how the mantle is going to look. We want to make sure we don't have any seams there. So let's get to actually assembling this part. So first we're going to do the sides, make sure those are all attached. I'm going to be using wood glue and brad nails. Make sure that your brad nail length is not too long so that it goes through the wood. I have 1 inch wood here, so I'm using 1.5 inch brad nails. So we're going to attach this piece first and hopefully get it nice and straight and even. So I'm going to put the wood glue here. There's probably a more technical way to do this, a more fancy way to make sure it's precise, but sometimes, or actually every time I do it, it's just quick and dirty. Gets the job done. Maybe not perfection, but okay, so we're going to add the wood glue here. And I am going to go grab a rag right now to get all this wood glue squeezed out, so I'll be right back. Probably a good idea to have something like this around for the wood glue squeeze out. So I'm just making sure that that is as flush as possible with this wood, so that I have easy time sanding and it's as seamless as possible. I don't really care about the inside as much, but the outside we want to make sure we get all this wood glue out of here. Okay. Once you feel like that's in a good spot, I'm going to shoot just a couple of brad nails in this, just to secure it more. Make sure you guys can see that. So we got our glue here. Just put that on. Apply the glue right here. Yeah. And just make it as flush as possible. Alright, now before you add this other side, you want to add this top. So same drill, add the wood glue. Just to get it in place here. Alright, so this is what we have so far. Just like a little triangle kind of thing. And now we're going to add the final touch, which is the front. So we're going to flip this over this way. And put this piece like this side, I think. This side looks good. And you see how that kind of just goes on there. The smooth finish. We got some wood glue squeezing out here. Okay, so we're going to add the glue on the outside of this. Take this. And just plop that guy on there. Hopefully it's somewhat flush. And right now I have this piece that is really going hard, and so I am going to have to kind of finagle that in there. I'm going to grab this right now. There we go. And then don't worry about putting the holes in it because we'll come back later to add some wood filler. Okay, so we went through and filled all of those nail holes with some wood filler. We're gonna wait for that to dry. Once it's dry, we're gonna go through and sand this bad boy. So here's kind of what it looks like. Now we got the top, and then the hollow back. This is how we're gonna be attaching it on the back side. Okay, so we just got done sanding this. Now it's nice and smooth. So we are on to the final step of adding the stain. So we're gonna open this guy up and get to work. For the sanding, I did go 80 grit and then I went up to 220 grit. If you wanted to do more steps in between that, you could, but I figured that would be best for what I was trying to accomplish. Oh, I did not shake that very well. There we go. So we're gonna get to staining. And I like to just use a brush. A lot of people use the rags or whatever, but I just end up using a brush. It just is easier, it seems like. Alright, so we got the TV and fireplace in. Now it is time for the mantle. So for the mantle, we're going to be taking these blocks. See how they fit? Just right into there. We're going to take these and mount them to the studs. I know where the studs are because where my nail marks are. So I'm going to be mounting those just like that with screws and then screwing the mantle in to these. And here's a reference for what those studs look like behind my wall. Okay, so now we have these into the studs. I put one right there. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, it needs to be in the middle so it hits that stud. So these are both really secure blocks, and now we're going to put the mantle on top of it and then drill in the holes right here. Sorry about the weird angle on this one. I thought I had it centered, but I must have bumped the camera or whatever, but you get the idea on how it slides into those pegs. Now, when you're screwing this in, don't be stupid like me. As you can see, that first screw, I butted my drill against the wall and it made that scuff. So the second time, as you can see here, I drilled it a little bit further away from the wall so I didn't hit it and make that scuff. I have to go back and paint that over now. But yeah, don't make that mistake. And just repeat this process for the other peg. I did put 2 screws per peg just to make sure it was extra secure. And there it is. If you're looking for a full tutorial on how I built this whole thing out, I do have a link down below that shows you how I built the entire wall.